Do we really have contented sleep? We have to ask ourselves, do I fall asleep because I'm tired or because of whatever reasons? Am I consciously going into sleep myself with fresh mind? Only when I approach my inner self with a fresh mind, then the sleep pattern will be different. There are times when you are tired and you immediately fall asleep without any problem. There are times you are so tired, rather too tired to fall asleep.
Yes.
These are various scenarios of sleep patterns. Sleep deprivation is another problem, resulting out of these irregulated sleep patterns. Yoga Nidra is one way of attaining the complete sleep cycle, completely fulfilling our sleep, let us say. When I consciously go deeper into sleep with my own efforts, how is it going to happen? Can I fall asleep with a peaceful mind after a fight? If I argue with my loving family members, will I be falling asleep? If I argue with my friends, if I argue with my business partners or colleagues at work or some vendors, some unfinished work, someone calls you from home, Dad or my darling, please bring something on your way back home, right? And you forget. And middle of night, you suddenly remember, so-and-so called me to bring something home. And you feel bad. Your sleep is spoiled.
Yes.
You see, unfinished work, shady work, sloppy work, work that is not completed with your heart satisfaction. Though one may not recognize with a conscious mind, but subconscious mind does register all these things and will not allow you to have deeper sleep, because that will become a bar before you go further into deeper sleep states. Do you ever remember what happens during deep sleep? Nothing we remember. Yet it refreshes us so much. After even 10 minutes of deep sleep, you wake up with so much of freshness. Yoga Nidra is all about that. Consciously falling asleep after connecting yourself with your higher self. Heartfulness meditation, it teaches us how to achieve that. Not only teaching us, teaching is one thing, do this, but to take someone's consciousness and walk with it and say, okay, now you settle here. You see, there is a difference between telling somebody you meditate like this. But it is a different thing when you actually go into the consciousness and hand in hand walk with that consciousness, make him arrive at the station. Okay, this is your state. Be there until I come back while I'm attending somebody else. So these yogic capabilities a guide must have. A guide must be able to guide us through various spectrums of consciousness. Yoga Nidra is just one part of it, which is talking about our sleep in a deeper levels. Now, there are so many studies done on sleep patterns actually. There is a beautiful Harvard research study done on monks, Buddhist monks who have meditated for 10,000 hours or 15,000 hours during their lifetime. And when such EEG pattern is measured, they have a peculiar delta wave coming immediately soon as they close their eyes and they go into deep meditative state. See? Now what happens in deep sleep? Deep sleep also promotes delta wave in EEG graph. So the meditative state that produces delta wave and a deep sleep that produces delta wave, they are akin to each other. Okay, but there is still a big difference there.
Okay.
You see, which I learned when I am associated with so many of our friends who meditate with us. I have found that they did not wait for 15,000 or 5,000 or even 1,000 hours of meditation. Right from the first day itself, because of this yogic transmission, a person is able to plunge into such a deep state which produces delta wave. That means during this half hour of meditation, one is able to go into a deeper state akin to deep sleep. But the difference here is, though you have the deep sleep state producing delta wave, but you are fully aware. So that's a beautiful state. In Shastras, we call it Turiya condition, T-U-R-I-Y-A. It is also known as the fourth state of consciousness. Superconsciousness, consciousness, subconscious, and Turiya. And there is also another state which we call Turiyatit, going beyond Turiya condition, going beyond the fourth state, transcending that state. And that comes, this is how I can simply explain that, okay, in Turiya condition, one goes and achieves this delta state. Okay, one is fully aware. This happens only during meditation. But Turiyatit condition, it happens even with your open eyes after years of practice. That you are walking, yet you have this Turiya state. With your open eyes, you are able to create that. Not create, it just happens to you. So sleep, I don't know, there are so many benefits. Without sleep, no animal can exist. See? But the quality of sleep that we can aspire to have can change our life altogether. In fact, haven't you seen that? See, the nights when you sleep for half hour or 1 hour, and when you wake up in the morning, you wake up with headaches or severe irritability. Even the statistics shows, when you are driving on the road with sleep deprivation, such people are the cause for meeting a lot of accidents on the road. They fall asleep on the wheel or they become inattentive for some time. And students especially, when they have just spent time at night doing all kinds of stuff, good, bad, doesn't matter. I'm not here to judge all those things. But certain things have deprived them of sleep. And in the morning when they attend classes, what are they going to absorb? They remain sleep deprived. Mind cannot absorb the knowledge that you are intending to learn, for which you have spent so much of money. So you're breaking so many hearts, especially your parents, your loved ones, just because of this indiscipline, not sleeping properly. Let me put it this differently also. Beginning of time, how we evolved. Let us see about few hundred years back when there was no electricity. Our life was pretty much regulated. On its own, nature forced us to sleep earlier. Night falls and you go to sleep. The moment you wake, in the sun rises and you wake up many times before that. Because you go to sleep early, you rise early.
Yes.
Now, this has created a certain genetic pattern. Our body responds to solar cycle or absence of sun during night. It responds to it. So, our Yoga Shastra has divided these two phases, day and night, Surya Nadi and Chandra Nadi. Okay. What happens because of Surya Nadi? Okay. One becomes very active. Because of Chandra Nadi activation, you become restful. You tend to seek rest. You tend to seek poise and quiet. Now, this cycle of activity and inactivity is embedded in our genes. Now, Surya Nadi is related to our right nostril, called Pingla. Left nostril is all Chandra Nadi, called Ida. During daytime, this has to be working actively. You try your nose, feel it. Both are not equally breathing. There is some sort of resistance in one nostril, and another nostril has a free passage of air. And this keeps on changing. If your health for some reason is compromised, it will switch the natural cycle. During daytime, during the active phase of my life, I mean active phase or activities that I should be performing instead of sleeping, right nostril will be working. It is activated by sun. In response to that activity, our sympathetic system, they work hand in glove kind. In science, we call sympathetic system because activities are all related with sympathomimic nervous system. Parasympathetic system, Chandra Nadi is activated that way. And one tends to look for rest. Certain hormones are secreted. Accordingly, our body responds to solar cycle. Now what happens? The entire genetic pattern of human race is regulated by this solar presence during daytime. Now, if our activities don't match this, what happens? Suppose people who are working night shifts, they are in a bigger trouble. Because it is like your body is wanting to rest. Your parasympathetic system is active. But you are forcing yourself to work for whatever reason. You may be dancing. Yet it is some sort of an activity, body is not resting. It is like swimming against the flow of water. You are swimming against, your activities are against this much needed rest. So entire genetic pattern is compromised. The genetic response is compromised from the very root of it. So people, you can study, all night shift workers, they have compromised health. Over 5 or 6 years, you will be able to study and say, yes, their health is not the same. It has immediate impact. Why even immediate? Why wait for 5 or 6 years? You can see it. You don't work. I mean, during daytime you sleep, at night time you work. Try to study such people's lifestyle. That absolutely destruction they bring in, create havoc in their life. So one must respect the solar cycle, right nostril, left nostril, Surya Nadi, Chandra Nadi. If possible, try to bring the balance. And this happens very fast through pranayama. Now, but in meditation like ours, where in heartfulness, there is no active or a conscious participation in pranayama. But when we are in deep state of meditation, this breathing automatically gets regulated. The need to actively do pranayama is completely bypassed, you can say. If needed, that I don't have to sleep tonight, meditation will help. Compensate the loss of sleep. Half hour, 20 minutes of deep state of meditation will satisfy you. But don't abuse your system. Okay, I will not sleep and later on I will do half-hour meditation. And that is not the best solution that you are offering. No doubt, it's a great substitute, the best substitute you can have. See? But I would not recommend that. See? When you have to have 8 hours sleep, you better have it.
Sound sleep is essential for good health and mental well-being. For some, drinking a glass of warm milk before bed can encourage a healthy sleep pattern. Yet many of us have trouble sleeping. We are endlessly thinking about stuff. Stuff at home, stuff at work, stuff we've done, stuff we want to do. The harder we try to sleep, the more difficult it becomes. Before reaching for the pills, try this very simple mental exercise. Lie down and close your eyes gently. Imagine there is ice about 8 inches above your head. Now, imagine the coolness from the ice traveling down towards your head. It moves from the top of your head to your forehead and temples and all the way to the back of the head. Feel your head cool down as you enter a state of rest. Continue with this till you fall asleep.